would fly up to the Charlottes every year and fly over the coastal range. And I'd always look down, because I'm always looking down at the rocks. And it was just white. All the time it was white. And I can remember in 2015, I was looking down and I could see gossans and rock that I'd never seen the previous 20 years.
So our glaciers have melted, permanent snowpack is no longer there, which is opening up a whole lot of new areas that have never been discovered.
And it was that inspired to do a syndicate covering that terrain all the way up the Yukon. So we went about, using geochemistry and all kinds of things to generate targets. That's sort of, the fundamentals that we use to initiate target generation. Then we just went out and put boots on the ground and drew contours out around where we thought some of this geochemistry would come from. But what we were focused on is that you had this terrain in world-class geology, and the rocks, the glacial and especially snowpack abetment was exponential. So you had all these rocks that the prospectors a century ago would have never seen or walked. There was no competition. I mean, we were like kids in a candy store. All this new terrain, exposed bedrock that nobody had seen before. Basically, we generated 360 targets from, basically Butte Inlet all the way to the Yukon border. And, with New Gold, in particular, we were within 1 kilometer of the red line, where the majority of the major mines, not all, in the Golden Triangle are found.
Yeah, so the red line essentially is an important contact point between the Stahina and Hazelton volcanics, where majority of the big deposits and mines in the Golden Triangle have been found within 2 kilometers of either side of the red line, and it comes essentially right through our gold digger property and right past our Sherbet zone.
So the geochemistry, the geology, everything was right. So we went back, right, into that area, and we went up the face.
Here I am again, crossing the little gully here. Some good looking rocks. Here's our guide.
And there were some samples taken, and, the samples that taken didn't run. And, most of the targets that we looked at, they didn't work. They look good when you're out there, but then the assays come back and they don't run.
Bit of a setback, and then you just got to keep on going, because, in this business, you eat what you kill.
When we generated the target out there back in 2015 and executed in 2016, we put our feet on New Gold, below Sherbet. We sampled, because it's like glacial pavement, so we sampled it over about 400 meters. We had several, hits of 1 gram, half gram, this kind of thing. It was in brecciation as well at surface, about 30 meters across in the outcrop. Based on that, those samples, we staked it.
Goliath was created in 2017 with a core focus of locating and possibly discovering the next largest gold discovery in British Columbia, Canada. I saw this package of assets and I thought, hey, this could potentially be the next SK Creek or next premier mine. So 2017, raised $2.2 million privately, took the company public in October of 2017. My previous background has just been mostly financing companies in the public and private sector, the bulk of them being in the mining sector.
So back in 2016, when the syndicate was out there doing its thing, there was no competition. We found a big vein way out to the west called Anaconda. It goes down 600 meters vertically, so we focused on that.
We are at the Gold Digger Lodo Zone North, Anaconda North. Adjacent quartz vein. Found some chalcopyrite, malachite staining, broke some rock. Found some extensive malachite, azurite, some galena, and lots of chalco.
So we went around and, we did airborne geophysics, we did ground geophysics, we did, all kinds of things, and didn't find anything that, we wanted to stick with that could be a headliner. So in the summer of 2019, we had all these reconnaissance targets that we developed through the winter, much like doing project generation. And one of the targets was the Sherbet area. So we took a few samples there. We spent a half a day, and I got a call from one of the geologists saying that, well, they found this, lots of pyrite and everything else in the sediments, but he said, all of the samples we had previously taken in the sediments elsewhere on the property didn't run. They look good, but they don't run. So he said, what should we do? He said, I do see a little bit of galena there, So I said, well, let's go back in there tomorrow, look at it carefully, and channel cut the thing, and hope that, the channel will tell the story. Well, that channel cut was about 7 or 8 meters, and it ran 7 or 8 grams. And that was at Sherbet, Maine. That was the original discovery outcropping based on that channel cut, and also based on some float that we saw down below the cliff zone that ran high-grade gold. Those are angular boulders. We went back in the following year, and we gave it 2 weeks of 5 men on the ground. When we got those results, of course, it captured the imaginations of people like Quinton because they seen it as unusual.
I remember first hearing the story and hearing the channel samples, and then I had a call and I met their geologist. And Lele is Swiss. He's a mountaineer. I think part of the reason the discovery was not made until now is because I don't think there's too many people that could scale the side of that mountain and get up there. It's like something out of Avatar. Yeah.
It is very rugged. I had guys telling me, there's no way you guys can build pads on the side of the mountain. It's like, holy smokes, hey, we did. So again, it's to the quality of the people that builds attract along the way. And, we stick to those people or they stick to us type of thing. And certainly location-wise, it's just the guys are super skilled. They're all licensed mountain climbers, and they're hanging off ropes and what have you. And without their perseverance and they're risking their lives to go find this stuff, we wouldn't be here talking about Sherbet.
Lele and the team didn't get up and channel sample that first season, and they did a fantastic job. It was basically a field discovery by channel sampling.
To follow something on surface for a kilometer, and every channel cut runs, and also it's almost like a cross section of the mountain. So to find that, it was pretty obvious that we should be able to, step back from it and drill it. And we were successful with every drill hole. And then we did the big step out and hit again. So this is a extremely unique opportunity. I've seen nothing like it in my lifetime.
Again, we only spent 14 man days on the ground thereabouts to get to an actual drill-ready program, our maiden drill program that we did in 2021. So it just shows you the extent and the robustness of what we're dealing with here.
If you can imagine, something of this size has gone from zero, from a thought, okay? So 15 days on the ground to drilling, and then a short exploration season because of the elevation and the challenging terrain. Thus, that's why nobody had been there before us. It's so steep, snow covered, all of those things. I mean, we were walking on rocks like being on the dark side of the moon. Nobody was there before us. So at the end of the day, we don't know what the outer parameters of this thing are, and we're not going to figure that out this year because it's still open even as far to the east as we go, and we got a 3-month window to execute. So you have a short window. At the end of this year, I would hope that we would have drilled off the Sherbet proper so that potentially, with good results, we could move forward with an inferred resource, right? We will understand more about the volcanics down at New Gold, these big intercepts, and we already have our plans based on those intercepts where we'll step out next year and try to outline the parameters of that.